When most people start trading with $100, their mind instantly shifts into get-rich-quick mode. They imagine doubling their account in a week, maybe hitting $1,000 in a month, and before long, they're dreaming of quitting their job. This mindset is the exact reason most fail. Turning $100 into $1 million is not about speed. It is about the ability to think in decades, not days. The mindset that makes this possible is called the compounding mindset. The belief that slow, consistent, and strategic growth beats fast, reckless gains every single time. The compounding mindset is rooted in patience, discipline, and long-term vision. It's not glamorous at first. It doesn't give you the adrenaline rush of placing huge bets and watching your account swing wildly. But it's the same mindset that built fortunes in every industry, from Warren Buffett in investing to Jesse Livermore in trading. This is the thinking pattern that forces you to protect your capital, grow it steadily, and never sabotage your own progress. The average trader sees $100 as nothing, something they can afford to lose. The millionaire trader sees $100 as a seed. You don't eat the seed. You plant it, water it, and protect it. If you're constantly digging it up to see if it's growing faster, you'll destroy it. In trading, this means resisting the urge to overtrade, to risk too much, or to jump into random setups because you're bored. The $100 account demands respect because how you treat the small amount is exactly how you'll treat the big one. Consider this. If you can grow your account by just 5% per week, that's not exciting in the short term. On $100, that's only $5 in profit. Most traders would laugh at that, but over time, the math becomes shocking. At 5% weekly growth, $100 becomes about $10,000 in less than 5 years. And if you can keep the same mindset with bigger capital, the numbers explode into hundreds of thousands and eventually millions. The principle is simple. Growth multiplied over time creates results that seem impossible at first. The problem is most traders fail to think this way. They want to take their $100 and risk 50% on a single trade because if they win, they're instantly up $50. What they don't see is that if they lose twice in a row, their account is nearly gone and their emotions are destroyed. This is where the compounding mindset separates the winners from the losers. Millionaire traders never measure success by one trade or 1 week. They measure it by a series of disciplined actions over months and years. Take the example of Richard Dennis, the famous commodities trader. In the 1970s, he started with a small amount, around $1,600, and turned it into hundreds of millions over the next decade. He didn't do it by gambling. He did it by applying consistent, repeatable rules to every trade and letting time do the heavy lifting. The story isn't about luck. It's about disciplined patience. That's the mindset you need, even if you're starting with less than 1% of what Dennis had. The compounding mindset also forces you to view losses differently. Most traders panic when they lose money because they see it as a setback. But a trader with this mindset knows losses are part of the game and calculated into the plan. If you lose 2% of your account today, but stick to your strategy, you can make it back over time without taking excessive risk. This emotional stability is critical. If you let one bad trade push you into revenge trading, you've already lost the mental game. Now, let's talk about emotional energy. Trading isn't just about charts. It's about your mental state when making decisions. If you're chasing quick money, you're in a constant state of anxiety. Every small market movement feels like a life or death situation. You can't think clearly. The compounding mindset eliminates this by removing the pressure to get rich right now. It shifts your focus to making the right move consistently. This not only makes trading less stressful, it also improves decision quality. A common mistake new traders make is comparing themselves to others. They see someone on social media flipping $500 into $5,000 in a week and feel like they're doing something wrong. What they don't see is that those traders are often taking massive risks, and many of them blow up their accounts soon after. The compounding mindset ignores the noise. It's about building your own journey at your own pace with rules you can stick to no matter what the market does. For example, imagine you have $100 and your goal is to make 3 to 5% per week. You have a solid strategy that gives you 2 to 3 high-quality trades per week, each with a 1 to 2 risk-to-reward ratio. You risk 2% of your account per trade. So on $100, that's $2. If you win, you make $4. This seems small, but after a few months of consistency, your account begins to grow. At $500, you're making $10 per win. At $5,000, you're making $100 per win. The process is the same, only the zeros change. This is the core principle that turns small accounts into large ones without blowing up in the process. There's another hidden benefit to starting small with this mindset. It forces you to master the skill of risk control before you have big money on the line. Too many traders get a sudden influx of capital, maybe from savings or a prop firm, and blow it in weeks because they never learned how to handle small amounts properly. By respecting your $100, you're training yourself to respect $100,000. It's the same game, just a bigger scoreboard. You also need to understand that the compounding mindset is not passive. It doesn't mean you sit back and hope your account magically grows. It means you are actively refining your strategy, learning from mistakes, and adjusting to market conditions, but always within the framework of controlled risk. You're not trying to hit home runs. You're trying to get on base every day. And over time, those base hits add up to a championship season. Some traders resist this approach because it feels slow. But ask yourself, what's better? Spending 6 months chasing quick wins, blowing up multiple accounts, and ending up back at zero, or spending those same 6 months building a track record of consistent growth so that when bigger capital comes, you're ready? One path gives you quick dopamine hits and long-term frustration. The other gives you discipline, confidence, and the potential for real wealth. The compounding mindset isn't just about money, it's about identity. When you adopt it, you start seeing yourself as a professional, not a gambler. Professionals think in terms of systems, probabilities, and long-term goals. Gamblers think in terms of luck, hunches, and one big win. The market rewards professionals and punishes gamblers. Your $100 is your training ground to become the kind of trader the market respects. In the end, the compounding mindset comes down to this: protect your capital, grow it steadily, and never rush the process. If you can master this with $100, you've built the mental foundation for turning that into $1 million. The numbers may change, but the mindset stays the same. And once you truly internalize this, you'll realize that the small account you're trading today is not a limitation. It's your greatest asset.